Now, indeed, you're very welcome back to part 3 here in the company of Billy Maguire. Billy, I just made a statement. You corrected me about historian Dermot Ferreter.
He doesn't refer to Vaughan's Hotel. He doesn't refer to the Sovereign Republic of Ireland. He never mentions the IRB.
Right.
He's never come to one commemoration on the 21st of January 1919. Yes. So, I mean, I wouldn't have any doubt.
You wouldn't. Now, what am I actually doing here now?
What you're doing now is we said that the 1918 32 county election, that is the problem for Britain.
Right.
Because it's a sovereign Dáil government. They don't even have sovereignty. It's royalty they have. And we're mentioning how that came about. And as you know, when they mentioned it on the 14th of December, correct, we bought Vaughan's Hotel, 29 Parnell Square and Granby Road for Mrs. Vaughan. Up to then, we used to rent a room for it. And you have to have sovereignty. If you don't have sovereignty, you're a slave. And the point of the whole issue is that that tells you what it was all about. They carried, the Irish volunteers carried 8 strings IV Irish volunteers. They had to carry sovereignty. We showed you there Sam Maguire was on his London Awareness Ready plane.
Yes.
We showed you his Easter. We show you that St. Patrick's Day carrying it, the shamrock and that.
Yes.
And the reason why, you have to have sovereignty.
Yes.
Sovereignty comes from God. Royalty is man-made, like the Constitution.
Yes.
That doesn't matter. You can change that. Man can change that as man. You don't have to keep your word. And that's why the sovereign Dáil government, all those that were elected by the will and wish of all the people in the 1918 32 county election, gave their oath of allegiance to the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, the Sovereign Dáil government, and the Sovereign Dáil courts, and the War of Independence as a defence force, and be accountable to the sovereign people. Those today elected to the Royal Dáil don't give any. They don't give any oath. They give a declaration to get paid their salaries, their pensions, and their expenses.
Yes.
You have. And that's why in Europe, you have to have sovereignty. General de Gaulle wouldn't allow Britain into Europe because they didn't have a sovereign government. And they got in under our sovereignty. Is how Britain got in. They don't tell you that.
No, never heard of it.
And how's it that Mary McAleese, what oath did she take?
Yes.
What oath did Mary Robinson take? And what oath did they, none of them are taking an oath. Yes. And Wolfe, what oath does he take? Is it to the Free State imposed on the 6th? And you can't follow it. And as you go back and follow along the lines, you see the sovereign Dáil government, you see Bloody Sunday, and then you see they impose a Free State government.
Yes.
They went, Michael Collins, and he was president of the IRB at one stage, went down with the British government and the Crown of England, and they bought the lease of Leinster House from the Royal Dublin Society. They had the lease of it.
Yes.
From the Duke of Leinster to impose the Free State government, and that to pay for Britain's war debts and war pay. That's where it comes from, and all that you can see now. Why the Cairo gang were sent over to do the job.
Now I see exactly. It makes sense.
And now I can see, what is Britain going to do? They divide Ireland, the 6 and 26.
The 6 and the 26.
And that's what they did. And that's where the division comes. But that's illegal. That's not legal, valid or bona fides. We have, and why is it they would not allow the sovereign Dáil government that were democratically elected to function on the 32 counties? They don't allow it. They want to control everything, and they want to be paid everything, and they want all the food again for all their people and everything else.
Well, the point is this, before I read this letter, just to finish up on that point, is this: if people say, 1847 is a long time ago and all of that, go and visit in County Limerick or Kerry or Clare or Leitrim or Galway. Just go and have a look at the unmarked graves.
That's true.
And hundreds of thousands.
Read Chris Fogarty's book.
Yes.
It's a brilliant book, and it gives you the facts. That's what he did.
The facts, yes, exactly.
That's what you need.
The true facts. But what I'm saying is, if people just stand, I did this out in Dromore in County Limerick there. I was at a funeral there a year ago, and this luscious green patch and was preserved and sanctified as a burial ground for the famine victims. And I just looked at it. It had an eerie silence, peace and quiet, and the wind going through it. And in it was up to, they reckon, about 3,000 men, women and children, Irish people, that were buried there, that were starved.
And their food sent out.
And the food sent out. Now that's a crime against humanity. And I get very, very angry and annoyed when I see this.
And there are people who know all this.
Yes.
In our government, in our judiciary.
Yes.
And they will not, they're dishonest with the Irish people.
But the point is, Billy, if they are dishonest, then they're not true Irish people. And then they should not be in the positions that they are in of authority.
They should be accountable.
There's no accountability in this country.
No accountability.
You know.
And they don't want to be accountable.
No.
They just want their salary.
That's all they do, and the perks of living. That's all. Right. Now, this is actually addressed to Mary Lou MacDonald, TD, President of Sinn Féin, Leinster House, Kildare Street, Dublin 2.
Which one did I give you?
And, you know, this is where I really become very, very vexed, because I just see, like what you are saying, there's a platitude that is actually given to, we'd say, different aspects of Irish history. But the facts are actually never, ever released or known, even by our national broadcaster, which is in fact an absolute disgrace. So they seem to be actually,
read the Boris Johnson.
You know, it's just incredible that how these things are airbrushed. But the people that watch these programs are very astute, and they are copying on that we're not getting the real facts at all.
No, you're not getting any facts.
Or we're not getting any facts at all.
You want enough light in that.
No, what I'll do is
I'll hold it for you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And thank you, Billy, you're a gentleman. So basically what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to read this letter. Dear Prime Minister Johnson, it is from Billy Maguire, Lee House, Kappa, Skeeton, County Limerick. It's addressed to the Right Honourable Boris Johnson MP, the Prime Minister, 10 Downing Street, London, UK. Dear Prime Minister Johnson, the Irish Sinn Féin Republican Brotherhood note your election as the new Prime Minister of Great Britain and your hostility to our state, the Sovereign Republic of Éire, and to our sovereign Irish people. Before Britain leaves the European Union on the 31st of October 2019, the British government must pay back to the Sovereign Republic of Éire and the IRB the 200 billion plus national debt and the Irish government imposed on Ireland and the Irish people on the 6th of December 1921 to pay for the illegal and unlawful Free State under the threat of immediate and terrible war. On the Irish people, when the British government sent her Crown forces into the Sovereign Republic of Éire to inflict terrible savagery, cruelty and brutality on our sovereign Irish people, when we left Britain on the 21st of January 1919, our Independence Day. There was no border in the Sovereign Republic of Éire on the 21st of January 1919, our Independence Day. The undemocratic Free State government that was imposed by King George V of England, the British government and the Crown forces on Ireland and the Irish people illegally, fraudulently and unlawful in 1922 as a British apartheid system for 26 and 6 counties of Ireland, as an orange undemocratic Free State and a provisional royal monarchist government that we have today in the Royal Dáil and the Royal Oireachtas that sits in Leinster House, Dublin, and is the cause of all of our and yours trouble today. Well said. Only the sovereign Dáil, Éireann, democratically elected government by the will and the wishes of all the sovereign people of Éire in the 1918 32 All-Ireland election called by the British government on the 14th of December 1918, the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood, the IRB Sinn Féin, won 73 seats on the 28th of December 1918. The Unionist Party won 25 seats. The Nationalist Party won 6 seats. The Independent Party won 1 seat out of a total of 105 seats. The Irish and Republican Brotherhood, IRB, still hold that mandate today and ratified on the 21st of January 1919 in the Mansion House, Dublin, and GHQ, Vaughan's Hotel, Dublin, by the sovereign Dáil government of the Sovereign Republic of Éire, all 32 counties. Question: why should the Sovereign Republic of Éire, the sovereign people of Éire, and the sovereign government of Éire pay and uphold for Britain an illegal, fraudulent and unlawful Free State system and government that Britain imposed on Ireland on the 6th of December 1921, when we have a sovereign state, the Sovereign Republic of Éire, all 32 counties and territory, a sovereign Dáil government and a sovereign Dáil of Éire court, four courts, without any debt, and has the right to sit in the European Union, European Parliament, European Court of Justice and the European Commission, and have all our sovereign territories and sovereign seas to our border with America, to our border with Britain, down the Irish Sea as it was on the 21st of January 1919, our Independence Day, governed by the European Union and the Sovereign Republic of Éire. To conclude, when you Prime Minister Johnson and the British government leave the European Union on the 31st of October 19, well, it's coming up on the 1st of January 2021, the Sovereign Dáil government and the European Union will govern the 32 counties of the Sovereign Republic of Éire and all its sovereign territories, the largest in the European Union, under the mandate of the 1918 32 county election, when we won 73 seats on the 28th of December 1918 out of a total of 105 seats. Prime Minister Johnson, if you and the British government impose another border in the Sovereign Republic of Éire, Óglaigh na Éireann will defend our sovereign state and our sovereign Dáil Éireann government and the sovereign Dáil Éireann forecourts under the All-Ireland mandate of the 28th of December 1918 and ratified on the 21st of January 1919 in the Mansion House, Dublin, and GHQ, Vaughan's Hotel, Dublin, by the sovereign Dáil Éireann government. The sovereignty of God and the sovereignty of man. The IRB are asking you, British Prime Minister Johnson MP, to take down and remove our sovereign seal of Dáil Éireann, AD upholstery, from the coat of arms from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of England's seal, which is the cause of great conflict between the two nations. This letter concludes with the signature and sealed on this day, the 1st day of August Anno Domini 2019, under the sovereign seal of the Sovereign Republic of Éire. Signed, William James Maguire, President of the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood, President of the Sovereign Republic of Éire, and President of the Sovereign Dáil Éireann Government.
But to show that...
Gora míle magat.
Will you show it?
I will, yes, yeah. And this is it, which we have just read. I hope I made myself reasonably